Good morning. We're Pat and Willie Spradley from Holyoke, Massachusetts. And before we begin, we just want to thank Organo leadership, Mr. Chua,
Absolutely.
Mr. Caldwell, and a special shout out to Edward Vargas for this opportunity to be on the platform. We are absolutely humbled and honored, and we don't take it lightly. We just want to give you a little bit of background about ourselves. We are proud 81 star achievers, and we will be celebrating our 10-year anniversary this month in Organo. I had no previous experience in network marketing. My background was in sales, and for the last 25 years, actually in public education. And I loved my job. As a matter of fact, I did it well enough to be recognized nationally, but I really didn't like the bureaucracy. It really didn't give me an opportunity to be creative. But what I really disliked was the fact that I had to limit when and how frequently I traveled. And I absolutely love traveling. And so time freedom became a real motivator for me. So that's a bit about myself. And now I'll let you hear from my husband, Willie.
So good morning, Organo. I had limited exposure to the MLM environment after I graduated from college. Some of you know what that means. My background's in IT. Over 40 years in the profession, from the days of punch cards through the introduction of the internet, and now to the phenom of social media. I became an influential contributor at our company, which was a Fortune 100 company. I became an influential contributor and eventually responsible for data integration at a director level. So, lesson number one, if your company values your skills enough to pay you for them, then there's something in that asset that you can use to benefit yourself and your family directly, all right? So lesson number one is, don't be afraid to bet on yourself, okay? So, how did we get to Organo? Let me start by saying that my wife and I are planners. We are known far and wide, especially by family and friends and our children, as planners, specifically budgeters. So the most important part of our budgeting back in 2010 or so, when we originally joined Organo, was we had a plan to retire early. Unfortunately, that plan was impacted in 2008, 2009, by the recession and the diminished values of the 401ks and things of that nature. So we had a gap. We knew our number, but we knew that our number had been impacted by the recession. We had a gap and we needed to fill that gap. Then we got a call from someone that we valued as a business person. They said, hey, look, I got something I want you to see. You should stop by and see this. We had no idea what it was. I called Pat. I say, you know, they said, stop by and see it. What do you think? She says, okay, let's go. So lesson number two, when opportunity knocks, open the door. So we went over to the presentation. As we pull up, remember my MLM experience from back in the day, right? So we pull up and there's cars all over the place. And I don't say anything yet. We go ahead, we go in, we go down, we sit down. There's the familiar whiteboard in the corner, and I'm like, okay, this is MLM, this is direct selling, okay. So we position ourselves kind of ready to leave, and the presentation starts, and about 3 slides in, we realize it's coffee. And Pat starts breaking my rib cage. We're doing this, we're doing this. I'm like, okay, but we're doing this. So sure enough, the presentation's over. We sign up with a gold pack. Mind you, we had not seen the coffee. We had not tasted the coffee. The only awareness that we had of what it looked like at all was the presentation display that was set up over in the corner. We didn't even see that until after we signed up with our gold pack. All right, so we signed up, we got a gold pack, we got started. And within a very short period of time, we got our minimum requirements for dual team. The check started rolling in and we vanished. We did not do a thing for almost a year. We did not attend a meeting, we did not attend an event, we did not go to a training, we did not get on a call. We didn't even attend the mixers that our sponsor was generously hosting for the people that we had sponsored into the business. We had people breaking pin levels. We had no idea what was going on because we weren't paying attention. All we knew is checks were coming in. So we get a call from our sponsor one day saying, okay, guys, look, you really got to start, you got to start showing up, at least for the meetings that your people are now hosting. You got to start showing up. So we say, you know what? We haven't been to Vegas in a while. Why don't we go for the big win here? We haven't been to Vegas in a while. We knew that the next OG event was going to be at the MGM in Vegas. So we said, look, here's the plan. We'll sign up. We'll tell them that we're going to the event. We'll buy tickets. We'll go to the event. But the plan is that we'll get to the event. We'll find a side door, head over to the Strip, and enjoy our weekend in Vegas. That's what we thought we were going to do. We land in Vegas with our sponsors. We get to the MGM. The energy is high. So now you're already feeling that this is not the experience you thought you were going to have. This is much better, much more intense, and much more positive. As we're entering the MGM, we pass by a gentleman that we find out later on was the VP of sales. Now, I say find out later on because we didn't know. We didn't know what he looked like. We hadn't been to any presentations. We get to hotel registration, we get registered, then we go to event registration, and the energy is unbelievable. So now we're looking at each other as our sponsors are starting to introduce us to their sponsors and their upline, and we're going all the way up and shaking hands and meeting people. We head back to our room and we're like, okay, we got a problem. We're kind of into this now. Committed to our plan, right? Yes. Okay, cool. So we get to the event, and then it happened. Okay, lesson number 3. Every major decision happens at a major event. Now, for those of you who remember, MGM in Vegas, this was the event OG Ben's Club was introduced. So if you were there, it was nuts. We're at the event, we're with our sponsors, we're in all that energy, and a gentleman comes onto the stage, one of the leaders of the comes onto the stage, walks right to the front of the stage, and just stands there and waits for everybody to quiet down. Once everybody quiets down, he says something along the line of this. Those of you who are here in the arena today, not those in the front, which was the diamond section, but those of you here in the arena today should be ashamed of yourselves. You saw this opportunity, you joined this opportunity, but you're not working this opportunity. You're not working this opportunity. And because you're not working this opportunity, you're denying the progress and the benefits to your family, to your friends, to your legacy for generations to come. You should be ashamed of yourself. He stood there for a couple more minutes and he walked off. The most impactful part, believe it or not, was after he walked off, nobody came on the stage after him until his time was up. So the stage was empty for another 2 or 3 minutes. That's when I kind of turned to Pat and said, okay, I think you might have been talking to us. So.
And he absolutely was, because when the event was over, we had absolutely been changed. We couldn't stop talking about everything from entering into the MGM, just everything about it. And one of the core things was that we had made a decision that this was our business and we were going to work it. So when we got on the plane coming back, we were absolutely on fire. We immediately opened up our laptop. We started talking and figuring out and developing a real business plan. But we were talking so loud, we had to shush each other because people around us were looking. That's how, excited we were. And then our sponsor came down on his way to the bathroom, and he stops when he gets to our seat, and he kind of holds himself like Fred Sanford, might be dating myself, Fred Sanford, like he was having a heart attack, because he just couldn't believe what he had seen. So much so that later, when he got back, he obviously sent his wife down because she came to look at us with her own eyes as well. So we were just very excited. After that, when we got home, we said, oh, we've got to find a place to do our CJMs. Oh, excuse me. CJMs were coffee jazz mixers. At the time, we only had beverages. And so we were looking for a place to do those because that's what they said we were supposed to be doing. And we ended up landing at a Spanish Chamber of Commerce, of all places. And actually in the city, not even that we live in, was in a neighboring town, a neighboring city, because we live in a relatively rural area. And so it was challenging for us to get people to even come out to our house to do the presentation. So we needed to be somewhere where we had access to people actually coming.
Right.
So for an entire year, every Tuesday night, we did CJ, AKA mixers. Now listen to this, we brought the water, the projector, the screen, the product, the cups, tools, everything, every single solitary tool. And had to make multiple up and down the elevator to have it because it was us. So anyway, we get there, we get all set up. We are all kinds of noise, we are clapping, we are yelling, we are thanking all the people in the back of the room. Thanks for keeping your word and being here and hearing the presentation. And you would have thought it was standing room only in there. So much so that when the president of the chamber came by and looked in, he said, "Where did all the people go that quickly?" We said, "Us." He said, "Oh my gosh." Every Tuesday, that's what happened. Except for maybe once or twice we had one of our distributors show up. But every single Tuesday we did that. We had to tear it down because we couldn't keep it up. The chamber had to use the room. But we did that for an entire year. We didn't realize at the time how much we were developing ourselves to do the presentation. We were just being teachable and coachable. But we still said, you know, we're still not doing enough. We were doing these, but we just weren't doing enough. But then we got a call from our sponsor, an elite leader in the company. And we were given a jolt of hope. We had new energy, our belief went up. It was electrifying for us. We said, at least our consistency and our persistence has paid off. And even though we only had that leader for a short time, we learned so much from him. He helped me personally develop and understand what my true purpose was. He helped us build our belief. He gave us some swag and some confidence known as posture. We didn't call it that then. He helped us to understand what it meant to be accountable. And he showed us what leadership really looked like, and so valuable to us.
With that experience, our lives have never been the same. Our energy toward building our business has never diminished since that. We've embraced the 4 steps, and willingness to be teachable and coachable is, I believe, our strongest asset. We began building a customer base. Some of those customers we still have this day, and they know when they don't have products. Having those customers forced us to join what was then called Case Club. We now call it Star Achiever. And we did all of that because that's what our sponsor told us to do, and our focus was on being teachable and coachable.
Yeah, but he also told us, don't stop. There's always another level. He always said, don't be complacent. So we said, we got to crank it up some more. So we got really busy. We cranked it up so well that we qualified for the incentive trip to Mexico by achieving the rank of Sapphire. We were absolutely beside ourselves when that happened. And oh, what trip that was. Right next to the elite leaders, and in the trenches of it all was unbelievable. And the fact that we had earned it meant all the more. There was still more. We kept hearing it in our ears, always another level. There's always, and don't stop. And remember, you get back what you put out. It's the law. So we realize that. So after that, after attending that first major event at the MGM, we vowed that we would never miss another major event, and we have never missed one since then. And what became customary for us is that we would go in 2 or 3 days ahead of time so that we could have some time to have a little fun and enjoy the city wherever the event was. So we were out by the pool, you know, and enjoying the fact that we were seeing all the other OGers around and other leaders, and we were just relaxing. And so as we're doing that, Willie says, hey, you see this? And he holds up a magazine, and we're like, yeah, we saw it. When we picked it up in the store, we looked at it too. He goes, no, you did not see this. And he opens up the magazine, and it's the 10-year anniversary OG magazine, and we are in it. Oh my God, we teared up right on the beach. I don't even have words for what it meant to us, but we were actually recognized for being perfect attendance star achievers, for being a product of the product, for building our retail business with customers, as Willie said, some of which we still have today. They started with us and they are still with us, which speaks volumes to the importance of having customers. So needless to say, we are so very proud of being in the Organo family, and we are absolutely here. And speaking of being here, we want to leave you with a few things that have been really helpful for us then and now. Customarily, we share 3, but I have just more, so pick a few that resonate for you. But one of those things is that immerse yourself in personal development. There's absolutely nothing more valuable than investing in yourself.
Change your life.
Yeah, and don't stop. It's a continual process to do that. Build your skills. Build your skills that you can become a network marketing professional. There are network marketers, but you want to be a network marketing professional. And thanks to Eric Worre, he does a great job of sharing those skills. Another thing is create, don't compete. If you want to compare yourself to anybody, compare yourself to yourself. Did I do better today than I did yesterday? Did I do better this month than last month? Always attend major events. We'd heard that things happen at major events and people make critical decisions. It was a life-changing decision for us. And then the last thing I'll leave you with is establish some daily method of operation, some things that you are going to do consistently and persistently, and make sure that they have some income producing activities that they're tied to. Make what you do every day matter towards you growing you and you growing your business. So I'm going to turn it over one more time to my husband so that we can tie things up, and hope that something that we've said has been helpful to at least one of you.
So the plan that I mentioned at the beginning, the plan to retire early, we modified that plan when we joined Organo in 2010. We decided that since some of the initial PD we were listening to from Mark and Renee Yarnell said, look, if you can survive 10 years in this industry, then you'll be wealthy beyond your wildest imagination. So we said, okay, so we got to survive 10 years. So we modified our plan to fit that 10 years. So I'm extremely happy to say that our 10-year anniversary in Organo, we were able to retire last year as planned and early. So that's all due to Organo with PD, Organo with the business model that we were following. I'm telling you, it's been life-changing. So with that, we want to say thank you very much for your time, and I'll turn it back over to my wife.
And we say, it's easy, it's simple, it's Organo. Bye-bye.
Take care,
Have a great
folks.
day.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate your time.